Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Congratulations to the University of Georgia Bulldogs. They beat the Alabama Crimson Tide last week 33-18 to win their first football national championship since 1980. And congratulations to head coach Kirby Smart, the rest of the coaches, the players, the trainers, the support groups, the teachers, the students, and all the other staff members at the University of Georgia. Wow. To wait over 40 years, that's a very long time. And this is a University of Georgia themed comic hero tee, and inside the speech bubble, you have the silhouette of a bulldog and also the state of Georgia. Then here on the left sleeve, you have Georgia's main athletic logo, and here on the right sleeve, you have their secondary athletic logo. Now, if you want your very own Georgia comic hero tee, you can find it on my website, IamTheComicHero.com. for $20. And then I'm also wearing this Georgia hat. And then, if that wasn't enough, I have a hairy dog pop vinyl. This is something that I'm going to start doing whenever I show some love to the National Football Champions every year. And I wouldn't feel right if I didn't talk about the University of Georgia. Now, Georgia is a public land-grant university in Athens, Georgia. And there are quite a few athletes that have attended and graduated from the University of Georgia. One of them is former NFL running back Herschel Walker, and then current LA Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, current Los Angeles Lakers guard Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and then one of my all-time favorite softball players, former Georgia softball pitcher Morgan Montemayor. Went and graduated from Georgia. And then there are also some other famous non-athletic people that have graduated from Georgia. REM frontman Michael Stipe, professional wrestler Bill Goldberg, Weather Channel, former Weather Channel storm specialist Sarah Dillingham, and NBC sports reporter and studio analyst Maria Taylor, and then Ernie Johnson, who is the studio analyst for the NBA on TNT, and then also actor Titus Burgess. He was on the cast of the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. So Georgia, they just don't have great athletes. They have great famous people. And so whether you're an athlete, whether you're not, whether you're famous, whether you're not, this episode is for y'all. I mean, go Dogs. All right, now this is one of two Georgia-themed comic hero tees I'm going to wear on this episode. A little later on, I'm going to wear a black one. And then also, this is the first of two episodes that I'm doing this week. And the reason I'm doing this is because there's this one cause that I want to raise awareness of next week. It's a cause that I've never raised awareness of, and that's birth defects. I want to raise awareness of that. So this week I'm gonna show some love to the Georgia Bulldogs, and I'm going to raise awareness of cervical cancer. Now, this is a cause that I've been raising awareness of since 2020, and I'm going to do this every year. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't raise awareness of both cervical cancer and raise awareness of birth defects. So that's why I'm doing 2 episodes this week, and then I'm doing 1 episode next week. All right, so as soon as y'all are done watching this episode, I should have episode 384 up. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, I asked, who played the role of the Thinker on the Suicide Squad? Well, the correct answer is Peter Capaldi. And 7 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, your name's been entered in the drawing for a free tea. And that drawing takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tea for this week's episode of the show is... Josh Green from Los Angeles, California. So congratulations, Josh. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tea. Oh, and by the way, Peter Capaldi is famous for playing the 12th Doctor on Doctor Who. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Stan Lee question. True or false? Stan Lee's former publisher originally hated Lee's concept of Spider-Man. Let me ask that again. True or false? Stan Lee's former publisher originally hated Lee's concept of Spider-Man. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now Mike Hart from Monroe, Louisiana has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features 2 freaks of nature, one from the DC Universe and one from the Marvel Universe, and they're upgraded versions of 2 respective classic heroes from each universe. Representing DC, we have the Batman Who Laughs. And representing Marvel, we have Cosmic Ghost Rider. These 2 are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call...
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's the Batman Who Laughs versus Cosmic Ghost Rider. The Batman Who Laughs possesses genius-level intellect, peak human physical condition, is a skilled martial artist and hand-to-hand combatant who utilizes high-tech equipment and weapons. Cosmic Ghost Rider possesses hellfire manipulation, superhuman strength, superhuman durability, immortality, meta-possession, remote possession, mystical chain projection, interstellar travel, energy projection, cosmic pin and stare, telekinesis, and weapon fabrication. Who will win? Cosmic Ghost Rider isn't as disciplined as the Batman Who Laughs, and it's going to show throughout the fight and backfire on him in the end. Cosmic Ghost Rider would fabricate a zip gun out of practically nothing and start shooting at the Batman Who Laughs. The latter would duck and dodge every gunshot. The Batman Who Laughs would try to generate some offense of his own, but the Cosmic Ghost Rider would wrap him up in his chain made out of the bones of Cyttorak, yank the Batman Who Laughs towards him, and give off his cosmic pin and stare. This causes the Batman Who Laughs to combust into flames. Cosmic Ghost Rider wins. But wait! Before the Batman Who Laughs is completely incinerated, he suddenly transforms into the Darkest Knight. In this form, being merged with Dr. Manhattan, he also possesses nigh omnipotence, nigh omniscience, reality warping, subatomic perception and control, science manipulation, disintegration, chronokinesis, time travel, cosmic awareness, limited shapeshifting, flight, levitation, near invulnerability, self-regeneration, self-sustenance, intangibility, size alteration, telekinesis, teleportation, dimensional travel, precognition, clairvoyance, self-duplication, superhuman strength and senses, energy projection, and matter and energy manipulation. He then phases through the Cyttorak chain, absorbs all of Cosmic Ghost Rider's powers, and disintegrates his true form, Frank Castle. The Darkest Knight wins. And that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed that fight, and thank you so much, Mike Hart, for that request. I'll have another one for next week, and if you want to make a request, please go ahead and do so. There has to be at least one comic book or manga character involved in the fight, and they can go up against another comic book or manga character, a video game character, or a very serious-minded sci-fi cartoon character. I mean, like Lion-O from the Thundercats, or Voltron, or anything like that. All right, now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! right, now this is the second Georgia comic hero tee. This is a black one, and it looks just like the red one. And if you want your own Georgia comic hero tee, a black one instead of red, you can also find this on my website, imthecomichero.com, for $20. All right, now on to Comically Speaking. There are two things I'm going to talk about. Now, the first one, now earlier, or should I say, sometime last year, I reported that John Romita Jr. was returning to Marvel. Now, Marvel was where he got his start at, nearly 45 years ago. And, I mean, he's part of comic book royalty. I mean, his father, John Romita Sr., was a longtime artist on The Amazing Spider-Man, and he pretty much set the tone for the way other artists visually depicted Spider-Man, and then the way a lot of readers visually depict Spider-Man as well. And also, he started on Amazing Spider-Man back in 1977 and had various runs on there as well. Well, I'm happy to say that that is exactly the book that he is coming back to, and that's Amazing Spider-Man later on this year. Now, I'm both excited and I'm very annoyed by this. Now, I'm going to talk about why I'm excited. Now, I'm excited because, again, I mean, he's part of comic book royalty. I mean, this guy, and not only that, even though he's part of comic book royalty, this guy made his own mark in comics. Not only did he pencil Spider-Man, he also penciled Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers, X-Men, Daredevil. And then he went over to DC and penciled both Superman and Batman, and then also a few issues of Justice League. And now he's back to where it all started, and not only that, on the book that he started. I mean, that's just, I mean, they say you can never come home again. Whoever said that, they need, someone needs to, well, they're wrong. Now that's what I'm thrilled about. Now this is what I'm annoyed at. I'm annoyed over the fact that with him taking over as the artist on The Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel has announced that because of this, they're going to discontinue the current volume of Amazing Spider-Man and start with a brand new series beginning with issue number 1. Everyone who knows me knows I am not a fan of Marvel doing this. They'll discontinue one book and then, or one volume of a book and start a brand new one. I mean, this volume of Amazing Spider-Man just started back in 2018, folks. And honestly, to me, that's like burning down a house that you just built and moved into 4 years ago, and then building another one. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, granted, Marvel has, at one point, you know, they did the whole Marvel Legacy one-shot a few years ago, and they returned a lot of their books to the original numberings. But then over time, they got away from that and then started new number ones and then had the Legacy number underneath. Now, the way I see it, if they're going to do that, they might as well just stick to the original numbering and stop doing this. But it's whatever. But one thing about it, because John Romita Jr. is on there and he's one of my favorite artists, I'm definitely going to read that book. All right, now the second thing is that the first 2 guests to come to GeekCon, which is August the 19th through the 21st at the Shreveport Convention Center in Shreveport, Louisiana, have been named. And that is Darby Allin and then actor John Kassir. Now, Darby Allin is a professional wrestler for AEW, or All Elite Wrestling. Now, you can watch their shows Wednesdays and Friday nights on TNT. And then, now John Kassir, now he's an actor, comedian, and voice actor. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that name, then you're very familiar with some of the voices that he's done. He, on the final season of Tiny Toon Adventures, he, in the last few episodes, he did the voice of Buster Bunny after Charlie Adler stepped down. And then also he played the voice of Crazy Smurf in the live-action Smurfs movie that came out a decade ago. But he's most famous for playing the voice of the Crypt Keeper on HBO's Tales from the Crypt. And I really love his voice. I mean, his voice is just one of a kind. I mean, There are a lot of like voice actors around, like Don Messick, Frank Welker, Mel Blanc, all of them. And to me, he may not be on the Mount Rushmore of voice actors, but John Kassir still has a voice that's one of a kind. And I'm also here to announce that I plan on being a vendor, or paying for my own artist booth at GeekCon later this year. So if you come on out to GeekCon, you will definitely see me there all 3 days. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is The Amazing Spider-Man number 84. Batman number 119. I Am Batman number 3. Captain Marvel number 35. Detective Comics number 1047. Inferno number 4. Justice League Incarnate number 3. Suicide Squad number 11. Superman Son of Kal-El number 6. Thor number 20. And finally, X-Men number 6. All right, that's 11, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 11,124. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode, and here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. True or false? Stan Lee's former publisher originally hated Lee's concept of Spider-Man. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Josh Green from Los Angeles, California, who won a free tee on this week's episode. All right, now here's the road ahead for the show. In a few days, I'm going to raise awareness of cervical cancer. Now, cervical cancer, it affects women, and a lot of women don't know that they have it. And I personally know some women. I personally know someone that has beaten cervical cancer, and I know some women that have lost their lives to cervical cancer. And this episode is for them, and it's also for any woman who has ever beaten, is currently living with, and the families of those that have passed on from cervical cancer. And then on episode 385, which I'm doing next week, I'm going to raise awareness of birth defects. I've never raised awareness of this cause before. Did the research to it already, and I have a Comic Hero tee ready for that, and y'all will see it. I mean, those that are friends with me on Facebook that have liked the Comic Hero fan forum, y'all will be able to see it first. And then I'll also have it as a product on the shop section of IamTheComicHero.com. And then on episode 386, I'm going to raise awareness of heart health. Now, next month, the month of February, is American Heart Month, and this is the second year that I've raised awareness of heart health. I did it last year, and I'm going to wear the same shirt that I wore last year, and then episodes 387 through 390, which is 4 episodes, I'm celebrating Mardi Gras, and going to wear the same shirts that I wore last year. And if y'all are afraid to go to a Mardi Gras parade, if y'all don't feel safe because we're still in this pandemic, then this episode is for y'all. I'm really gonna decorate the holy heck out of this desk, and I may even wear a Mardi Gras hat or a mask. Who knows? And again, congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs for winning the national championship. Wow, to 40 years since the last one. That's like they say, nothing lasts forever. I knew it was only going to be a matter of time before Georgia was going to win the national championship. And also, congratulations to the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, y'all also had a great season as well. And the one thing about sports, someone has to lose. But don't beat yourself up because you lost. Because you had to, because you can't, because y'all had a great season. Nothing to be ashamed of. All right, I'm Victor Nolly on a comic here. I'll see you in a few days for episode 384. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and go Dogs!